Hi everyone and welcome to Swahili Kingdom, learning Swahili through the natural approach. So today in this video we are going to know the difference between learning and acquisition, and you tell me down in the comments below if you are learning Swahili or you are acquiring Swahili and which method suits you very well. Okay, let's start. Okay, starting with learning. Learning is actually taking the rules into consideration, like memorizing, taking the rules, seeing, writing, like filling in the blanks, how sentences are done. I mean, how things are done, like the way you used to do in school. Maybe, let's say, memorizing a passage, like not really memorizing a passage, but memorizing rules in grammar. Okay, something like that. It is a process where someone is required to go through a textbook or go through a teacher, so that that teacher can give them the rules in grammar for them to memorize those rules. Okay, one advantage of learning that I have found is that when you learn, you don't make so much mistakes than when you acquire a language. When you are learning a language, like when you learn some parts of the language, not the whole language, you don't make many mistakes as someone who has just acquired without learning some parts of it. For example, when you are a child, you started by acquiring the language. You didn't know anything. Okay, you didn't know any rule in grammar, but you could speak that language. But most probably, if when you are a child or any kid that has not gone to school yet can speak that language via acquisition, the way they have acquired, but most of the time they will not be grammatically correct like an adult who has gone to school and has learned some rules to use. Okay, but with learning, the disadvantage with learning is that you forget most of the things that you have learned. For example, if I ask you right now, when maybe you are learning the grammar, maybe you learned English grammar, Spanish grammar, French grammar, Filipino grammar, or Portuguese grammar, whichever language that you learned, most of the people will not remember the rules, but they will be using the rules without knowing. Okay, so for example, when I tell you, for instance, when I give you a grammatical question, like most of the people will evade such questions. They will not want to answer such questions. But when it comes to speaking and those other things, they can speak because they have the rule, but they don't want to do the grammatical part. They have forgotten, but it has subconsciously remained with them. Okay, and then the other thing is acquisition. What is acquisition? Acquisition of a language is the way a child speaks a language. They have acquired that language. Okay, I'm just explaining in terms of a child because a child has not gone to school. Maybe a 3-year-old child who can speak English, who can speak Spanish, maybe in a Spanish country, in an English country, in a Swahili country. So that child has not learned that language, but they can speak. Why? Because they have acquired. Acquisition is when you get in an environment of a certain language that you want to acquire. So when we speak in terms of Swahili, for example, it doesn't mean that you have to go to that country. I have acquired Tagalog. And learned some parts of Tagalog. And I have never gone to the Philippines. I am still here in Kenya and I have acquired Tagalog. If you want to see my video on the methods, I have talked about how I acquired Tagalog, but I speak in Tagalog in that video, though there are subtitles. You can read the subtitles, but if you want to watch that video, here is the link up here. Go and watch it, or you can check the link down in the description box below. go and watch that video. And you can help me with telling me the mistakes that I have done in the video, so that I can correct. It's good when someone else points out something that you have not seen. Okay, I'll be very thankful for that. So acquiring, as I have said, is getting yourself in an environment of a certain language. For instance, let me use my example. When I was learning Tagalog, and I'm still in the process of learning Tagalog, because I believe that learning doesn't end. Even in Swahili, even though I'm a native, when I get something new, like a new book, there are some phrases that I will not understand. Yes, I will understand the context, but there are some, let me say, some words that I will not understand. And when I check them in a dictionary, I'm going to learn something new. Okay, so even though I can speak Swahili, I can speak English, I can speak Tagalog, I can speak Spanish, or I'm still in the process of learning. So how did I get myself in the environment of acquiring Tagalog? The first thing was surrounding myself with people who speak Tagalog, reading books in Tagalog, changing my app in Tagalog, listening to Tagalog music, watching news in Tagalog, watching vlogs in Tagalog, watching YouTube videos in Tagalog, writing in Tagalog, doing my journal in Tagalog, and singing in Tagalog, just putting yourself in the environment of that language. And one of the most important thing in acquisition, yes, you might have put yourself in an environment of that language, but one thing that ensures you have acquired the language is the activities that you are doing. The environment that you should put yourself in should be an environment that you want and you like. Okay, so that, because acquisition takes place only when you like something. For example, I might like singing. I acquire an accent or a language through singing. I acquire accents through singing. So that's one of my trick. I acquire accents through singing. So if you are not attracted to such an activity, don't do it, because even when you do it, you will be forcing yourself, and acquisition will not be taking place so well, or maybe it might take a slower process, but it will be a disadvantage. Okay, do what you like. To sum up again, I have said learning is memorizing the grammatical rules and all those things. Acquisition is when you set yourself in an environment of a certain language. Okay, so you can tell me down in the comments below, are you learning or acquiring, or you are doing both of them? And if you are doing both of them, which one would you do at a higher percentage? Tell me down in the description, tell me down in the comments below, and I'll see you again in the next video. Adios, bye.